I hold in my hands the new SkyRover all-in-one controller. Or is it? Or is it this? What's the difference between these two? They look exactly the same. Well, let's dive into this. Hey there, this is Mike with the Drone Passport channel. Thank you very much for joining me for this video presentation. As always, I appreciate you taking time to be able to join me. One of my viewers made a comment on my most recent video pertaining to the SkyRover S1 when I took it on its inaugural flight. His question was, how did SkyRover get their new all-in-one controller approved since there is the ban in place? Because the ban covers not only drones, but also any peripheral equipment such as remote controls. Well, that is a great question, and that has led me to this presentation. So again, I'm going to show you the two controllers. They look exactly the same, but there is one major difference. Cosmetically. One's darker in color and the other's not. But other than that, if you look at the back, you can see that this one is the DJI controller and this is the SkyRover all-in-one controller. Of course, this led me to do some investigating to find out some information behind the scenes. And I did some research, and I also found some research that other people did before, and I will make sure that they get the appropriate credit. I will provide links to their research in the description below, as they truly did all of the technical tear apart in terms of trying to figure out what's what, and also were able to determine some quite fascinating information about the companies that got these new SkyRover drones, or at least new a year ago, SkyRover drones approved. So let's dive into this situation. I've titled this presentation Regulatory Chess, Uncovering or Unmasking the SkyRover all-in-one controller. All right, so let's take a look at these two controllers from the back. One, the RC2, has a label. The SkyRover controller does not. They look identical on the outside when I showed you previously, and they both have similar software, except that the SkyRover app is utilized on its smart controller. But the thing that's missing is the FCC compliance label. There is nothing on the SkyRover remote control. And it is mandatory to have an FCC label on the back. So let's go back a year ago and talk about how the SkyRover X1 became a reality and received FCC approval. So the SkyRover was approved on April 29, 2025. And the company that filed for this is a company called SZ, Knowact Robot Technology. They are based in Shenzhen, China, which is the home of DJI. And the hardware that was certified was the X1, the SkyRover X1, and the tethered remote only. This approval did not include the all-in-one smart controller. This particular slide shows the particular approval from the FCC pertaining to the SkyRover X1 tethered controller. There is no mention of an all-in-one controller. In fact, if you go to the FCC website, you can pull up the ID number for this approval, and it will show you a host of documents that were attached. And some of those documents are user guides. And one of them basically shows you the tethered remote. All right. So now let's dive into the Sibling model filings. Now, the report that was done here, the deep research that was done, and again, I want to make sure that these two individuals receive proper credit. Konrad Iturbe, I hope I pronounced that correct, and Kevin Finisterre did some deep diving into this. So the first company that we talked about that got the X1 approved was a company called SZ Knowact Robot Technology. Now, for the S1, the company that submitted the request for approval was a company called WaveGo Tech LLC, which is based in Sacramento. However, their corporate location is in Delaware for obvious corporate tax purposes. Then there are some other companies that are out there. There's a company called Fixaxo. I don't know if anything has occurred with Fixaxo. And then there's a company called Skyani. Now, many of you who are aficionados of the SkyRover X1 probably recall that Skyani was the original name or one of the names of the X1. In fact, there was a website that contained information pertaining to Skyani. So basically, the research that Konrad Iturbe did, he was able to use an FCC scanner, and he identified 12 plus companies that have the identical signatures that the DJI controller has. Some of those companies are called Cognito Tech, Jovistar, Sky High Tech, and there's more. Again, everything is in place for these particular companies, but are particular drones. But there's an intricate network of all of these proxy companies that have the same identical transmission blueprints. Now let's go to the S1 approval from the FCC. And again, the document I'm sharing is a screenshot from the FCC website. And this is what was listed. This is for the remote control for the SkyRover S1. It was submitted by the company WaveGo Tech, again, based in Sacramento, but the corporate headquarters is in Delaware. If you go to the FCC website, you will see a host of documents that basically show you what was approved and what they submitted. And you will find that they submitted for the remote controller the tethered S1 remote, not the all-in-one controller. And if you want to check this, please go to the FCC website and pull up those two IDs that I've shared with you. So here is the forensic proof. The app level evidence is huge. Kevin Finisterre found live DJI FlySafe URLs inside the SkyRover app. And the letters DJI was literally replaced with XXX in the code. This is arguably the most damning piece of evidence. You can change the branding, but you can't change the radio fingerprint. The DJI code was found inside the SkyRover app. The hardware is identical. So, how were they able to get the new all-in-one controller through the covered list ban? Well, so let's take a look back real quick. As of December 23rd, 2025, all foreign certification requests for foreign-made drones were blocked. No approvals forthcoming on those. However, if you had a drone or its controller that was approved prior to the covered list freeze, then it was automatically approved. This is an incredibly clever game of regulatory chess. And basically, this points to the SkyRover all-in-one controller being the DJI RC2. One item of note, on October 28th, the FCC voted to give itself retroactive authority to revoke authorizations from drones containing covered list components, meaning even those grandfathered authorizations could theoretically be targeted. So, to my viewer who asked the question, how did SkyRover get this remote control approved? The answer is it's a disguised RC2 controller. The only difference is the color, but it was previously approved. To answer the question, is it legal? The answer is yes, it is. So let's take a look at what's coming down the road. So again, Iturbe's had produced a white page article titled "To Catch a Vibe." And his article details all of the shell companies that have been created that have submitted approvals to the FCC. And there are approximately, I want to say there were 3 companies, maybe 4, don't hold me to that exact number, that received approval. So the ultimate question is, what will these drones look like? Well, SkyRover has been teasing their next release, and that is going to be the SkyRover V1. Now, it's supposed to be similar to the DJI Air 3S. But again, there were multiple drones approved prior to the covered list ban. The question will be, what controller will come with the V1? That'll be interesting to find out. Will the V1 receive approval for a tethered remote? Who knows? We'll find out. Now, there is a parallel to the DJI Lito drone that was released earlier this year. There is the Lito 1 and the Lito X1. They have been stated as being identical to the SkyRover S1 and X1. So SkyRover has expanded their reach into retail beyond Amazon. They have now have products listed on Best Buy, bestbuy.com, and also in stores. Also, you can find SkyRover products on other websites, such as Adorama, B&H Photo, etc. So they're out there. It's easy to get. There are no restrictions in place with these existing drones. Even with the DJI RC2 controller, that device was previously approved. The only thing we need to be on the lookout for is when or if the FCC decides to retroactively remove approval for existing equipment. Now, there have been reports stating that they don't plan to do that, but only time will tell. Well, I hope this presentation has been helpful. Hopefully you have learned from this. I know for me personally, I have rediscovered some items that I saw over almost a year ago, last fall to be exact, when these articles came out. And again, all the credit of the research that I uncovered was due to the work that Konrad Iturbe and Kevin Finisterre did with their respective reports. I will provide links to the white paper as well as the articles that these gentlemen wrote so that you can see exactly what may be coming in terms of new SkyRover drones. SkyRover teased the fact that there's going to be a V1. Is it one of the prototypes that are listed on the website that Kevin had, or are they listed in the white paper that Konrad had? Let's find out in due time. And of course, the question is, was the remote control approval with a tethered remote, or was it with an all-in-one controller? We'll find out. Let me close things out with my usual greeting, and that is to all of you who are subscribers to this channel. I truly appreciate you being a part of this. I am sincerely grateful for your patronage here and being a part of this as we continue to grow. If you are not already a subscriber, I invite you to join. I am certainly going to have some diverse material on here, including drone flights, which is what dominated this channel in the beginning, but also I'm doing a little bit of diving into some subjects. And also, you know, one of the things that I've done here is change the name of the channel because I do plan to incorporate some of my travel videos as well. In fact, there is a travel video that is scheduled to be released within the next week of you seeing this video for the first time. So be on the lookout for that. I think that video is really cool, but I might be a little biased. But anyway, in the end, I do ask if you could please give me a thumbs up. That would be really appreciated as it will help me with the YouTube algorithm. All right. Well, let me just say in closing, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. This is Mike with Drone Passport. Thanks. Bye for now.